GMNA uses artificial intelligence for generated speech, visuals, and production. AI-generated content may contain errors. Please verify important information before making decisions or taking action. Live from the GMNA News Center, this is the Lunch Break News Hour.
Good afternoon, Toronto. Police are hunting 2 suspects after the Etobicoke Plaza shooting, while commuters face minor delays from scheduled transit changes. Ontario just unveiled $1 billion infrastructure program for fee-free municipalities, and the city's new Sweat and Tonic studio opens in Yorkville. Over to you, Nathan.
Astrology and Human Behavior, a SIP and Scholar Lecture Night, occurs Thursday evening at the Toronto Public Library's Yorkville branch, beginning at 7 o'clock, with complimentary tea.
The event features Dr. Maya Patel discussing planetary influences on decision-making, followed by a canned A session, and attendance is free for all Toronto residents.
Seats are limited to 100, so early arrival is recommended. Registration opens at 6:55 p.m. on the library's website.
Lots to get to, let's begin. Here are our top stories.
Toronto police are searching for 2 suspects after a shooting and assault at the Islington Avenue and Elmhurst Drive Plaza in Etobicoke around 6:45 p.m. this evening. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Police are now hunting 2 suspects after a violent assault and shooting at the plaza where Islington Avenue meets Elmhurst Drive. Officers arrived just after 6:45 p.m. on August 16th, finding a male victim with multiple gunshot wounds. Witnesses said the attackers fled the scene on foot, heading north toward residential streets. Detectives have canvassed the area, collecting surveillance footage and interviewing anyone who might have seen the men. The investigation remains active as officers work to identify and locate the 2 individuals involved. They are reviewing nearby camera feeds and have dispatched uniformed units to patrol the neighborhood. The plaza remains cordoned off while investigators piece together the timeline. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Etobicoke.
Toronto police are investigating a possible human remains discovery at the intersection of Ellesmere and Markham Roads in Scarborough, following a report of a suspicious incident around 5:50 p.m. today. Tobias Kwan has the full story.
Police arrived at the corner of Ellesmere and Markham around 5:50 p.m. on August 16th after a passerby reported something suspicious. Officers found a collection of bone fragments and tissue that investigators say could be human remains. The scene was cordoned off while detectives began a preliminary sweep, cataloging the material and photographing the area. Forensic teams were called in to collect samples for DNA testing, and a neighborhood canvass is underway to identify anyone who might have noticed unusual activity earlier in the day. No arrests have been made, and police have asked anyone with information to contact them. The investigation remains active as officers continue to piece together what happened at this intersection. Tobias Kwan, GMNA News, Scarborough. Former councillor Mike Layton has entered the race for the University Rosedale Council seat, aiming to return after 3 terms on City Council from 2010 to 2022. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Mike Layton has thrown his hat in the ring for the University Rosedale Council seat as the city heads toward the fall 2026 municipal election. The former alderman, who spent 12 years on council, said his decision comes after a pause following his 3-term stint that began in 2010 and concluded in 2022. During that time, he first represented Ward 19 Trinity Spadina before moving to Ward 11. Layton highlighted his focus on affordable housing, transit improvements, and preserving community spaces as he looks to re-enter municipal politics. He announced the campaign at a downtown community center, urging residents to stay engaged as the race heats up. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Toronto.
Ontario Premier Doug Ford will address mayors and municipal leaders at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario Conference Monday at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Premier Doug Ford is set to address Ontario's mayors and municipal leaders at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario's annual conference. The speech will take place on Monday, August 17th, at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Time, as officials gather for the yearly gathering of municipal representatives. Ford will join a roster of mayors and regional leaders to discuss provincial priorities and collaborative initiatives. The event, hosted by the AMO, brings together more than 100 municipal officials from across the province for workshops and policy sessions. City leaders will also hear updates on infrastructure projects. Organizers say the Premier's remarks will focus on shared challenges and upcoming funding opportunities for local governments. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
2 men were stabbed in a fight at the Augusta Avenue and College Street intersection in Kensington Market Sunday afternoon, just after 4:30 p.m., leaving them seriously injured. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Police arrived at the busy intersection of Augusta Avenue and College Street just after 4:30 p.m. Sunday after receiving calls about a fight. Officers found 2 men engaged in a struggle, both with multiple stab wounds. First responders treated the victims on scene before transporting at least one to a trauma center for serious injuries. The altercation appeared to be a personal dispute, with no weapons other than knives reported. No arrests have been announced yet, and investigators are canvassing the area for witnesses. The community was briefly cordoned off as ambulances and police units worked to secure the scene. Both victims were described as adult males, and the investigation remains ongoing as officers review nearby surveillance footage. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Kensington Market.
Later, we'll break down the $1 billion infrastructure aid for fee-free municipalities and what it means for local services. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Welcome back. Ontario and the federal government today unveiled a $1 billion program to fund critical infrastructure in fee-free municipalities, announced at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference in Ottawa. Dev Shourie has the full story.
Ontario and the federal government today unveiled a $1 billion program aimed at municipalities that don't charge development fees. The funding will go toward building and renewing critical infrastructure such as roads, water treatment plants, and transit assets in those fee-free communities. Officials said the money will be allocated through a competitive application process, with projects expected to start later this year. The announcement came at the opening day of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario conference in Ottawa, marking the launch of a joint provincial-federal initiative. The goal is to give municipalities a reliable source of capital without relying on development charges, ensuring essential services can be maintained and expanded. Dev Shourie, GMNA News, Ottawa.
Search teams led by the Trenton Joint Rescue Coordination Centre continue searching for a missing pilot in the Kawartha Lakes region near Balsam Lake, Ontario, as the operation remains ongoing. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
At Balsam Lake in the Kawartha Lakes region, crews are combing the water and shoreline for a pilot whose single-engine aircraft went missing on August 16, 2026. The Trenton Joint Rescue Coordination Centre, which coordinates aviation search and rescue across Ontario, has dispatched helicopters, fixed-wing planes, and surface vessels. Spotters are scanning from the air while ground teams search the marshy banks. Officials note low clouds and gusty winds are limiting visibility. No wreckage has been found yet, and the effort is expected to continue through the weekend. Local police are assisting, and volunteers have gathered at the Balsam Lake Community Center to help. Residents are asked to report any sightings. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Balsam Lake.
Municipal leaders from across Ontario have converged in Ottawa for the Association of Municipalities of Ontario's annual conference, urging predictable, stable funding for their communities. Thousands of representatives are present. Dev Showri has the full story.
Municipal leaders from across the province have converged on Ottawa for the Association of Municipalities of Ontario's annual conference, a gathering that runs through the second week of August. Thousands of municipal representatives are on the floor, meeting in a series of sessions that focus on the province's funding model. Officials are pressing provincial ministries for a more predictable flow of money to support local services, citing the challenges of fluctuating allocations. The conference agenda includes panels on infrastructure, public safety, and community development, all framed by the call for stable, long-term financing. Speakers stress that certainty in funding is essential for planning and delivering core programs at the municipal level. Dev Showri, GMNA News, Ottawa.
Authorities say a woman fell into Lake Ontario at Jack Darling Park in Mississauga and later died, according to Peel Police. Simon Okonkwo has the full story.
Police say a woman slipped and fell into the waters of Lake Ontario while at Jack Darling Park this morning. Peel officers arrived within minutes, launching a rescue attempt, but the woman was pronounced dead at the scene. Witnesses reported hearing a splash before seeing her struggle in the cold water. Emergency crews worked alongside the police, but the lake's temperature and currents proved fatal. Investigators are reviewing surveillance footage and speaking with park visitors to piece together how the incident unfolded. Authorities are treating the case as an accidental drowning and have asked anyone with additional information to come forward. No further injuries were reported, and the park remains closed while authorities conduct their inquiry. Simon Okonkwo, GMNA News, Mississauga.
Ontario will launch a cash-based bail system on Monday, requiring defendants to post a security deposit before release. Critics argue the upfront payment infringes constitutional rights. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Ontario launched a cash-based bail system today, the first day of a province-wide shift that now demands a monetary security deposit before release. Under the new rules, anyone charged with an offense must provide a cash payment that will be held until their court appearance, replacing the previous non-cash model that relied on promises or supervisory conditions. Officials say the change aims to ensure court attendance and protect public safety, while courts will set the amount based on the seriousness of the charge and the accused's financial situation. Critics argue the upfront requirement infringes on constitutional rights, contending that wealth should not determine freedom before trial. The overhaul marks a significant departure from Ontario's long-standing bail practices. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Toronto.
Now let's turn to the forecast and see what the afternoon holds for you.
A westward jet stream is dragging a low-pressure trough that will keep Toronto clear and warm. On this date, the city once baked to 32 degrees Celsius in 2009, a mark set during a lingering heat wave that pushed the midsummer ridge north. The coldest reading came in 2007 at 13.7 degrees Celsius, recorded during an unseasonal Arctic blast that slipped south behind a deep trough. Today's climate normals sit around 24 degrees high and 16 degrees low, so both extremes sit well outside the typical range. Those benchmarks remind us how the current pattern differs from the long-term average. The live radar shows a completely quiet canvas across southern Ontario, no echo anywhere. With the western jet streaming at roughly 141 kilometers per hour, the air mass remains stable and the low-pressure trough to the north is being sheared eastward without moisture. That dry subsiding flow keeps clouds at bay, so we expect the clear sky to persist through the afternoon and into the evening before the next system arrives later tomorrow. At noon, the city sits under a clear sky with a temperature of 23 degrees Celsius, humidity at 81% and a dew point of 19 degrees. Light northwest breezes blow at 10 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 21 kilometers per hour, feeling gentle on the water. The atmosphere is governed by a low-pressure center that is slowly falling, while a fast western jet stream at roughly 141 kilometers per hour rides overhead, funneling dry, subsiding air across the region. With that setup, the temperature will climb to 27 degrees by mid-afternoon before easing back to 25 this evening. The ultraviolet index reads 7 and the wind will peak at 17 kilometers per hour from the northwest. No weather alerts are in force. That brings us to the 5-day outlook. Looking ahead, Tuesday brings a high of 25 degrees and a low of 16, with overcast skies and a 25% chance of rain as a weak frontal boundary drifts south. Wednesday stays warm at 26 degrees maximum and 15 minimum, but lingering moisture offers another 25% pop-up shower risk. Thursday steadies at 25 degrees high and 15 low under clear skies, giving a dry spell before the weekend. Friday cools slightly to 23 degrees high and 15 low, with partly cloudy conditions and no measurable precipitation. Saturday returns to a milder 24 degrees daytime, 19 at night, and a strong 65% rain probability as a low-pressure system slides in from the Great Lakes, ending the week with a wet finish. And that's your weather. Remember, the lunch break is also available as a podcast. Listen anytime on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.
Up next, traffic updates, a look at tonight's Harana Night Baby and Baby Workshop, and the Sweat and Tonic expansion. We will be right back. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes, the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news.
Morning commuters face a bottleneck on the G.O. Barry line. Service is reduced today, with the last northbound train departing early and shuttle buses replacing several scheduled trips. Riders heading to the York Region Corridor should allow extra time for the bus connections. The UP Express is also operating on a limited schedule this afternoon, running only every 30 minutes between Union Station and Pearson. Expect a short wait if you're catching a flight. On the road, traffic is moving smoothly. Highway 401, the Gardiner, and the Don Valley Parkway report no delays. Downtown arteries, Queen, King, and Spadina are clear as well. Eastbound traffic on Danforth Avenue toward Greektown is also moving freely, and Lake Shore Boulevard stays open along the waterfront. Looking ahead, the lull may shift once the lunch rush begins. Keep an eye on the downtown core, where traffic often builds around 12. Otherwise, the network should stay steady through the afternoon.
The Canadian National Exhibition rolls through Exhibition Place, turning the city into a summer playground of rides, food, and live music. Running through early September, the fair offers carnival classics, craft vendors, and a waterfront concert series perfect for a quick family outing. At History Toronto, Chance Pena takes the stage tonight, delivering soulful indie vibes with a hint of folk rock that fills the historic ballroom. His intimate set makes for a memorable midweek music break. If you're craving hands-on flavor, La Pizza and La Pasta hosts a Pizza Napolitana workshop where you'll master the art of true wood fire crust and then taste the result fresh from the oven. And looking ahead, tomorrow night the Toronto Tempo face the Indiana Fever at Scotiabank Arena, a must-see showdown in the city's basketball calendar that promises high-energy play and a chance to cheer on home talent. And now here's Marcus with sports.
Today's board spotlights a franchise legend, schedule hurdles, and a tight wild card chase. Dave Lemingsick celebrates his 76th birthday, reminding Jays fans of the pitcher who helped launch the franchise in its inaugural season. He threw the second-ever Blue Jays start, a milestone that still echoes in the club's pitching heritage and community ties. Nick Ashbourne breaks down the Jays' remaining slate, weighing travel, opponent strength, and off days against the wild card pack. The analysis shows Toronto's path is tougher than most rivals, meaning every series now carries extra weight for a playoff push. The Blue Jays sit one game behind the final American League wildcard spot, turning the next stretch into a must-win sprint. A slip could drop Toronto out of contention, while a surge forces rivals to scramble for every win. Keep your eyes on the road, every game could tip the balance.
Thanks, Marcus. Sweat and Tonic expands to Yorkville, bringing Toronto's first high-capacity group strength studio to the upscale corridor. The Canadian Fitness and Wellness Hub, known for its science-backed classes, will open its doors in October 2026, offering a spacious, communal strength training floor that can host dozens of participants at once. The new location creates a dozen new jobs for local trainers and adds a modern, inclusive workout space to a neighborhood traditionally known for luxury retail. Residents will now have a place to sweat, connect, and build resilience without leaving the neighborhood. It's a reminder that Toronto's health and community thrive when innovative fitness meets everyday people and inspire a stronger future. Stay with us for the shocking Bloor Yonge station stabbing update and the tragic motorcycle crash in Vaughan, coming up next. Every day, important stories happen across the city before any news crew arrives. Sometimes the very first person at the story is you. When you witness something newsworthy, open the GMNA Citizen Reporter app and start your report. The app guides you through every step while your report is delivered directly to the GMNA newsroom. Every submission is reviewed by our editorial team, and approved reports may be featured on GMNA. Get the GMNA Citizen Reporter app today at my.gmna.ca. Your city, your news. The city's summer celebration is turning Harbourfront Centre into a bustling market, where local artisans, food vendors, and families gather for 3 days of music, art, and street eats. The energy is building along the waterfront, and we've got live looks from the scene. Carl Dumont is there. Carl Dumont.
Thanks, Jordan Parker. I'm standing on the boardwalk of Harbourfront Centre, the lake breeze pushing the scent of fresh grilled corn and maple syrup through the crowd. Rows of brightly painted booths line the promenade, each one a splash of color, hand-stitched quilts, locally roasted coffee, copper jewelry that catches the sun. Families linger by the splash pad while a brass trio spins jazzy versions of classic summer tunes, and children chase bubbles near the water's edge. On the north side, a pop-up kitchen garden displays heirloom tomatoes, their deep reds contrasting with the turquoise of Lake Ontario. The energy is palpable. Vendors chat with regulars, swapping recipes and stories as the city's skyline glints behind them. This 3-day celebration turns the waterfront into a living marketplace, reminding us that community thrives when we gather to share food, art, and laughter. For many Toronto families, this weekend is the yearly chance to reconnect with the city's creative heartbeat. Carl Dumont, virtually at Harbourfront Centre.
Welcome back. A Toronto Transit Commission employee was stabbed in an apparently unprovoked attack near the busy Bloor Yonge subway station yesterday, prompting a police search for the suspect. Simone Okonkwo has the full story.
An employee of the Toronto Transit Commission was attacked just outside the Bloor Yonge subway entrance early Wednesday. Witnesses say the worker was stabbed in what appears to be an unprovoked assault, with the assailant fleeing the scene before police arrived. Officers recovered a blood-stained jacket near the southbound platform and are now canvassing the area for witnesses. Detectives have not released a description of the suspect, but they are urging anyone with information to contact the Toronto Police Service. The incident comes as the station, one of the city's busiest transfer points, continues normal service, though security presence has been increased. No other injuries have been reported. Investigators are also reviewing surveillance footage from nearby cameras to identify the attacker. Simone Okonkwo, GMNA News, Bloor Yonge.
A man died in hospital after a motorcycle collision in Vaughan late Saturday night, prompting a York Regional Police investigation. Authorities are reviewing the circumstances surrounding the crash. Ainsley Booth has the full story.
Late Sunday night, a motorcycle collided with a vehicle on a busy intersection in Vaughan, leaving the rider critically injured. Emergency crews rushed the man to a nearby hospital, where he later succumbed to his injuries. York Regional Police have opened an investigation into the crash, reviewing traffic camera footage and speaking with witnesses. Officials said no other motorists were seriously hurt, though several drivers reported minor scrapes. Police have not released further details at this time. The site is a busy commuter corridor that often sees heavy traffic in the evening. The incident adds to a string of weekend collisions that have prompted heightened safety alerts across the region. Ainsley Booth, GMNA News, Vaughan.
Thank you, Toronto, for joining us on the lunch break. Tonight's coverage of the Etobicoke shooting reminded us how important community safety is. We appreciate your trust and look forward to bringing you more insight tomorrow. Stay informed, stay safe, and see you back at lunch.